Are you ready?
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Circle of Gratitude. Welcome, my brothers Strick, Chris, and D. Pray
Yo,
all is well with you, brothers.
yes, sir, man. How was y'all day, man?
Oh, it was lovely, man. It was lovely.
Man,
Made it
that's
safe and
good.
sound, brothers. Made it safe and sound.
And that's what the best part of the day is.
Greatest part, man. What about you, brother Strick? How about you, Strick? How about you, Chris?
I'm
What's
here. I'm
going on
still
with
cooking,
y'all? You
but my
cooking?
day's going good.
Oh, okay. Good deal. Good deal. Good deal, man. Yeah,
Just
man,
yeah,
man.
I'm good, bro. Just stepped in the house. I'm gonna be listening. I get with y'all.
Okay, man. Well, hey, we here,
All right.
brother. We here. We here. We here. Hey, man, I want to welcome everybody to the Circle of Gratitude. This is what we do, man, and this is what we try to continue to do. Get that positive message, positive vibes. Hopefully, it can enlighten somebody, man, and help somebody in whatever they might be going through in their life. But I think we have, four of us as intellectual brothers, man, that think logical and think about outside the box, man. So these are the things that we try to do in order to maybe like reach somebody. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's not everybody, but it's somebody. All it takes is one. So yeah, man. Well, let's get straight into it, man. I was having a talk with a friend of mine, man, and this came across, man. It said, keep up what you start in a relationship. Don't get complacent. And some of us, we tend to get complacent in certain situations. Not all, but you have to keep that spark going, man. Um, I would step in. I'm gonna ask, D, and if Chris can answer whatever. D, what is it that you think that you keep going what you had from when you first met your lovely wife?
Shit, man. I don't know. I guess I know before, we just really got exclusive dating and, getting physical with each other. I would always call a check to see how our day was. And just send out little texts throughout the day, just showing that I was thinking about her. And I still do those things to this day. And
Right,
when we get ready to go out, I don't do it all the time, but I want to say maybe 75 to 80% of the time, I still open up the door for, before I go to the driver's seat. Um, it's just little stuff like that, man. I mean, it just become a part of you, like a routine, something that you should do. I mean, you would rather do it than somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
So, I figure those are some things that you got to keep because if she decide to, want to leave or do anything, at least she know when she go to the next chapter in her life, she gonna look back at that other chapter. Dang, this dude don't do this. He didn't do that. He don't make me feel like this, but I'm here though. I don't
Right,
know. It's just me. I just 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the line, you treat that same day as if it was the first day. You
right.
know,
Yeah, you
until you
should.
until you see a flag or something, and then if you care about that person, you bring it up right then and there. You know what I'm saying? Or when a good time is there.
Right. I mean, and certain people in certain instances, man, they tend to say certain things. What is the right time? I mean, we kind of touched on that last time we spoke. When it comes to addressing things or whatever, you know what I'm saying. But at the same token, I think we we just try to keep the spark going. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of us some of us get complacent and not to realize that, you know, I already got that person, so I don't need to continue these type things. But then in my opinion, I think that kind of opens the door for someone else, maybe. You're not saying that they would look another way, but I mean, at some point, do they discuss it of what, you know, why is it that they don't do these things anymore, or do they just step outside and think that, you know, if what you won't do, so, you know, you heard that saying, what you won't do, somebody else will. But I don't think that that should be a thought in a person's mind when you with want to, you know, with each other. You shouldn't want to step outside the box or to go out there and do things that is really disrespectful, you know what I'm saying, to your spouse. And then it goes back to a trust factor too. You know what I'm saying? At one point, you know, you might see a person say, well, they treated me in a way where they they wanted to address something, but at some time they think that you might not be listening, or you're not a listening ear anymore. You know what I mean? So those type of things, I think that we have to consider that and give that person the floor. You know what I mean? If someone want to address something, then definitely let them address it. Let them get their words in. But we know that going back and forth and arguing and going, you know, and screaming and raising your voice is not going to get any resolution to that. You know, I mean, would you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's not. It's gonna make things worse. I
Yeah,
don't care. No matter how you look at it, nobody likes to be yelled at. Nobody likes to be screamed at, and nobody likes you just vulgar words being thrown their way.
yeah,
I don't
true,
think
true.
nobody responds to it well.
Yeah, I mean, you would get less response and less input, or if you're raising your voice or you're screaming, because I think if when we decide to cross that the past that level of boyfriend, girlfriend, or even being in a relationship, or even dating, um, we're grown individuals, so I don't feel that we should be able to scream. I think it should be a discussion. You know, I
That's if
can't.
it's mature enough to be had, man.
Yeah,
You know, because I mean, it depends. Yeah, you're right. It should be that way, but man, that's if it can be had, man.
yeah, it can be, but then, you know, it goes back to what we talked about a while back when we said, do you be, you know, at some point you have to be the diffuser. Now, is it fair to say that you shouldn't have to be the diffuser all the time? But
Yeah, you
you know what
shouldn't
I'm
be. And
saying?
after a while, you're gonna figure out a different approach. Is what I
True.
advise. And you know, like I always say, like I told my good friend, no profanity, no raising your voice, and you know, no foul language. It just seems to stick a little longer when you can switch up your words, man. That's the honest to God truth. You know, whether it's a relationship or a regular conversation or something at work, but it's definitely those things for me that I try to watch. And if that don't work, then I just know for some reason that this person is just they not on the same frequency as me, same page as me, not even in my, you know what I'm saying, even my circle. You know what I'm saying? They not my crowd, my audience.
Yeah, right,
And
right,
at
right.
that point, you know that you need to, you know, get yourself from away from them.
Correct.
That's just what it is. And some people just don't know how to see that. Sometimes people just not your audience. Sometimes people is just not for you.
Right.
You know, y'all could probably be cool with each other on something else, but for whatever it is that y'all might have in that relationship, it might not be it, man.
So yeah, so I would agree. I think at some point in a relationship or a marriage or whatever the case may be, I think you have to find that happy medium um, at some point, because, like I said, you remember me. We always had a discussion of far as when we talk about things, you know, sometimes, like you said, it got to be a different approach. Because if you notice that if your study come the same way, that person is giving you the same response. So at that point, you really be, in my opinion, I think you become you're part of the problem and not the solution. You know what I mean? So you have to find a happy median between you two so that both parties can actually get their point across. It could be addressed and maybe find a solution to the problem. But sometimes with some situation, it can't always be one way, one person's way, and or your way on your way or the highway. You know what I'm saying? It can't be that situation because honestly, that comes with compromise. And in my opinion, if you're going to look for a long-term situation or a long-term relationship or marriage, I think it takes a lot of compromise. You know what I'm saying? Because it might be something that you wouldn't even thought about doing at one point in your life, but
And
that
that
person,
compromise, and that's something big, because that really be what it is too. When you can show you can give a little to try to get something back, but you got to realize how much you giving too, without getting something back before you start slowing up. Because people get comfortable with certain things that you do and take it for granted. Not to get
yeah,
off subject, but you right though.
yeah. But that's what I'm saying. That's where it comes back when we start. Remember how we always say, people get complacent. You know what I mean? And really, I think the complacency, when that happens in life in general. You know what I'm saying? That's even some people coming back to bettering themselves, or they so used to one lifestyle and they don't know nothing outside of that. So now you be with a person and a person introduce you to certain things that you probably never experienced because you probably were used to one type of person. And that goes for males and females.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like some people try to understand, well, why I'm always running into these type of men, or why I'm always running these type of women. When you're not setting, at some point you got to set your standards. You got to set a standard. And some people don't have standards when it
Yeah.
comes to people who they with. As long as they look good, they smell good, they sometimes don't even require a lot of conversation, depending on what type of relation you look at. You know what I'm saying? Are you in a relationship physically?
But I don't think this is.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris. Oh, yeah,
No, nothing, man. Sorry.
yeah, but no, I'm saying, are you looking at it for a physical, or are you looking at something that can stimulate your mind? You know what I'm saying? Which in certain sense you can get both.
I say, but look, to be honest, dude, I didn't look for anything that was mental until I was damn near 40 years old.
Oh, I would.
What I cared about was, were you gonna give me good? I'm just being honest. Now, I'm not saying it was right. I'm just saying that's how it was. You gonna
You
give me
straight
good?
going bowling, man, knocking them down like pins.
I mean, that was
Pick and
basically
roll,
how
pick
it
and
was.
roll, audible, audible.
I wasn't trying to figure out whether we were compatible, we were this. The things that I should have been trying to figure out, I was never even thinking about. I was simply thinking about, yo, that's my speed. There it is. Matter of fact, Shaq, you could look at a woman and say, nah, he wouldn't mess with that. That's how it was.
True.
I didn't look at anything beyond the physical. Whether it was I capitalized or it attracted me or not, that was what mattered. And I think that's pretty much how it is for most young cats. Because I think about, by the time I was 23 years old, 24 years old, I was already secure in my gig. I'm making some decent bread. Wasn't really trying to do a whole lot. And if someone was a little bit more forthright, I probably would have did the things I did. But I didn't listen to him. He didn't want to talk loud enough. I'm gonna blame it on him. But anyway,
right.
But ultimately, we have a very immature mindset when we're a certain age. Now, I'm gonna get cut for it because people are gonna say, "Nah, that's not always right." But the reality is that it may not always be right, but it's what I remember. For me and who I was not, that dude that you wanted to marry, to be honest with you.
Right.
I know a lot of dudes now that are in that position, and they shouldn't be.
And what position is that, big bro?
Excuse me.
I'm doing the same thing too.
I don't know what you're doing. I'm coughing, but whatever. I mean, we all have certain characteristics.
Yeah.
And as men, and let's be woefully honest. If you are a young man and you decide to get married between 18 and 30 years old, you a damn fool. Because
if you decide to do what?
If you decide to get married between 18 and 30 years old, you're a damn fool, and you're doing the person you're marrying and the possible children that you're having a disservice, because we don't have any idea of who we are and what we are.
Well, strict. Nah.
Go ahead. I'm listening. I'll take the 5.
Okay. Now, I got married at 29 or 28.
Okay,
now,
you know what I said, right?
So I'm saying, so I, at some point it was a maturity stage, and I think, not saying that I was fully mature to that situation, but
but you answered my statement, right? You were a testament to my statement. You said
well
at some point maturity.
Well, now listen though, Strick. Now, this is what I'm saying. Now, from my part, now, okay, that's just like, even if you got married for the first time at 35 or 40. Now, here goes the thing. Not necessarily say, because if you've never been married before, how would you know how marriage goes? Unless you had some foundation that was set for you as what a marriage should be.
As I said, maturity has a level of understanding in regards to relationships, and decided to be with an individual monogamously from start to end. If you're a mature individual, the individual that I am today is far from the individual I was 15, 25 years ago, brother.
Oh, yeah, well, absolutely.
You are far from that individual. And the reason why you are far from that individual is maturity. So with that maturity, with that maturity, you recognize individuals that you need to stay away from. Because I can tell you, even in a monogamous relationship, I can see some shit and be like, yo, that's some shit I'm gonna go a different direction from, because not only is it a temptation, it's sour apples. Don't move around. Because of maturity.
Right.
When you are engaged in that type of development or relationship between the ages of 20 and 30 as a male, I can tell you, we think without dicks. We don't think without heads. You're not that head. We don't. And if you tell me somebody that did, I'll tell you he's a special individual. Other than that, he's just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember now, I told you I got married at 28.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You believe you was mature enough to get married at that point in time?
I was well, let me.
I ain't say ready. I said, well, you mature enough, mentally, emotionally.
Well, listen what I said. This is the thing that I always stated to, and this was prior to me even having a child. So, you know, some people say, oh, you know how years ago they would tell you, oh, you get a woman pregnant, you get married. Well, in my case, that wasn't the case. I got married before she got pregnant. So I really knew that in my life, I wanted to, I had my run from 19 to that point. You see what I'm saying?
I hate to interrupt, brother. I gotta interrupt. You said you had your run, right?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that when you reach the level of maturity, it's not even about a run. It's about who you are as an individual and what you're willing to do to sustain your situation. And when we are during the ages of 20 and 30 years of age, from my experience, it's not that we're not willing, but we're not understanding the individual that we engage this desire with. But we're not mature enough to understand who we need to be in our lives to complement what we're designed to go through. So yet and still, we are not mature enough to go ahead and make the decisions that we need to make for the future. Is what I'm saying. Now, are you understanding what I'm getting at?
I can agree to disagree. I mean, you
Okay,
know,
go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay, because the reason that I said that because
Oh shit.
I knew some individuals that were married from middle school and they still together today to one person. Now, did they have?
Can you count them on all 10 fingers, or is
No,
it just one hand?
I can't.
It's just one hand, right?
Yo, absolutely. I would agree.
That's why I said if you find one, that's a good thing. That doesn't mean it's the majority of things. But go ahead, I'm listening to you.
No, but what I'm saying
Snoop Dogg got married. He been with his since high school.
Okay.
But he had a break
And
too.
how many of his friends have been with their old lady since high school? That's what I'm saying is just because it happens doesn't mean it's a regularity. You know what I'm saying? You can't say that. You know, we try to explain that to Tim Scott when we said, look here, bro. Look here. You are an exception to the rule in the Republican Party because you're the only black senator. He said, oh, no, that's not the truth. Nigga, how are you going to say that's not the truth when you're the only one? So what I'm saying is that there may be a Snoop Dogg and there's a this and there's those individuals that have maintained those relationships. Those that have not maintained those relationships for a long period of time, typically it's because they weren't mature, nor was the individual that they engaged in the relationship with. They weren't mature enough to engage in a relationship. That's my thing. And I can tell you, I don't give a darn what happens between those ages. You don't think with the right head, bro. You don't.
I mean, but that's a common, but that's definitely common though, Strick. I mean, I would agree with you on that part. But I'm just saying, yeah, you would think as you're looking at the majority of where the situation is, like you said, there's a handful versus a room full. Yeah, I get it. I get that part. But what I'm saying is the possibilities are there. And I know you're not saying it's not, but they are possibilities. Like I said, I got married before the age of 30. You know what I'm saying? And I know some people say, oh, I'm going to get married by this, or I'm going to get married by that. But then here it is.
My question is, did you get divorced?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, okay. Sure did.
Now, let me go ahead and say my piece. I got married before 30. Did I get divorced? Yes.
But would you say that was a part of your immaturity, or was that just a situation, the person that you married?
It is immaturity at its genesis, at its beginning. It's immaturity because if you don't recognize who you are, you can't figure out who you need to be with. Okay, you can't. It's not possible.
So you're saying that you played a part into the demise of that relationship?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. No,
it's not a factor of blame. This is an issue of, guess what? If you're not mature enough to pick who you want to be with, then whoever you pick ain't gonna be worthy of what you need to get done because you don't know what you need to get done, and that individual obviously doesn't know that you don't know what needs to be done. So they're in the same situation. You get together with two people that don't have any idea what the fuck they gonna do. Okay, you don't. So until you start establishing who you are, recognize who you want to be with, what makes you happy, what makes you complete, what makes you thrive and strive and flourish, then what happens is that you get stuck because you don't know. And that's why I say maturity is a very important fact. Emotional maturity, mental and emotional, mental, same thing. But the reality is that if you're not mature enough in your growth, if you haven't developed certain things, went through certain heartbreaks, certain understandings, and as you go through it and understand, learn how to cope with it, then you can't be good for the person that you're with.
Oh, okay. So let me say this. So it's a thing they call a vicious cycle. Okay.
What?
Now, what I would say is now years ago. Now we're talking years ago. Now we talking probably 40, 50 years. Now, those relationships now, as far as they made it work, that means mama stayed at home, daddy went to work. Okay. Now,
Yo.
Could that work today?
Yo,
Probably.
ladies, don't cut me because of what he said. But go ahead, I'm listening.
But what I'm saying is, okay. So now here it is. In between that time, now it goes back to our generation, and we say, "Oh, okay." So I like you made the statement. You said, "Okay, well, you know, anybody that would get married before the ages of 30, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case may be. Okay, fine." But now, do you think that cycle is going to return, or do you think that cycle is going to continue to be where it is because people still don't know what they want, and it still goes back on the maturity level?
Well, I mean, the evidence is in reality. The evidence is in, hey, what's happening to children today? What's happening in the relationships today? The divorce rate is higher than it was before. The reality is that we don't know ourselves, and we engage in trying to develop a relationship with people, and we don't even know who we are. Well, it continues. The cycle will continue because the system hasn't changed. The understanding hasn't changed. So, I mean, you wind up engaging in the superficial as opposed to the emotional, mental connection that you're supposed to have with people that you engage in a long-term relationship with.
Oh, okay. So, just to say this, based on what do we have to look up to in today's time?
Well, you know what? Looking up to it is doing something that's going to change the situation.
But I mean,
I don't want to bring no craziness into it, but let's just say, you know, Michael had some sense when he said, you know, the man in the mirror. It's the individual. When you start producing the way you're supposed to produce, whatever it may be, then guess what? It grows. It grows like the circle of gratitude. If you're going to sit there and say, look, we need to be around people that are positive, that are going to work towards a positive goal, you have to acknowledge every aspect of it that deters us from going into that positive goal. And acknowledging it is part of the fact that, look, we have to recognize that our maturity level as men has to change. If our maturation rate doesn't change, then we stagnate. We stay in the same point that we were. So for me, my thing is that I'm gonna look at an individual and say, look, I gotta accept your rights, your wrongs, and be able to be mature enough to understand those things.
I was outside.
Love an individual for who they are, not who you want them to be, is what I'm saying. If you can't love them for who they are as opposed to what you want them to be, then you need to move on and find another individual. Are you mature enough to know that at between the ages of 20 and 30 years of age? I don't think so.
Well,
come on.
Well, okay, that could be a fact, but yes. So, but do you? How would I put this? I get your point, and it's a very valid point. But what I'm saying is, you're saying that there are individuals that out there that really can do it and make it possible. They have matured because they might have an old soul. They might have had something to
right.
really.
I'm not saying it's everybody. I'm not saying that.
No, I get that. I know you're not saying that, but I'm just saying. But I mean, is it true to say that, you know, like you said, I mean, if you say that, then if somebody would listen and say, oh, okay, so you saying for 2030, I can't be mature. Not saying that you're being directive, and that's what your directive is. I'm not saying that.
Not a directive. What I'm saying to you and everyone else listening is this: as a young male, between the ages of 20 to 30 years old, you have not yet established who you truly are, who you are emotionally, who you are in every aspect of life, who you can be as a husband, as a father. You don't know those things yet because you haven't identified who you are. Once you identify who you are, hey man, move forward, do those things. But until that time, if you start trying to raise a child when you're figuring out who you are, guess what? You're going to misdirect. You're going to misdirect. Doesn't mean on every aspect, doesn't mean all of it. What it does mean is that you haven't yet attained the emotional security that you need to do to bring a child in this world, or to be the husband, to be the provider, to be the guider, to be the understander You haven't done that yet because you're still trying to play video games in this world that we live in today. So I say, take your time. You know, the idea of reproducing just for the fact of reproducing is really nonsensical. We're supposed to be able to reproduce, guide, provide, and do for. And if you can't do those things, man, yo, until you can pull your pants up, stay where you at. Stay where you at.
Or are you?
Try to figure out who you are.
Well, we know the new generation is something different. Not
Well,
all,
I
but
see
some.
some old cats. I saw an old cat today wearing some saggy ass pants hanging off his ass, and I'm sitting there going, "Wow, is it what? What's going on?" Now,
Okay,
I'm
okay.
not saying that that's right or wrong. I know that there were times where clothing and music and all these other things were thought to be, you know, very perversive and what have you. This style changes, fashion changes. I just don't understand the style and fashion that they're at today. But you know, I see an old cat do it, and I'm just looking like, yo, wow, that's interesting. I mean,
Okay,
what else can you
so-
say?
But would you say it's fair to say that not necessarily have to be somebody between the ages of 20 and 30 to be mature? Meaning,
Again,
okay, that's what I
I'm
said.
not
Meaning,
saying everyone. What I'm
no,
saying,
I get it. No, I'm saying because you have mature younger individuals that's probably more mature than somebody that's 40 or 45, 50 years old. You know what I'm saying?
but yet the
I
maturity, you can be mature and not be experienced. You do understand that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I'm saying is that you may be mature on certain levels, but the reality is that in life experience and the ability to procreate and be able to instill those same values, you may be one of few, but it happens, and I know it does. The reality is that it doesn't happen on the majority that it needs to happen because of the way that we have raised our children in this society that we're in. So my thought and my belief is that yeah, between those ages, it's fucked up. Because I remember it being fucked up for me. And the hell, I'm damn near 60 now. So you know, I'm closer to 60 than I am anything else. So my deal is that what are we supposed to be doing? What we should be doing is trying to instill certain values in these young men and these young women about things that we have to do before you start to develop a family. Because if you don't, it continues on this madness that we have now. Women by themselves, men by themselves, 4 and 5 children, this, that, and another, and or children all over. I mean, what do? You have to find a way to change the dynamics of the society that we're in order to change where we're going to be in the future. So we got to start on the ground level. And the ground level is the biologically intact, or even if not biologically intact, the emotionally intact family. If we do that, then we're great. Or we're at a great start. If we don't, you know, we subject ourselves to saying, okay, you know, let's just keep having kids have kids. And those kids that have kids don't have the knowledge and the guidance that they need, whether it be for their fault or ours, but they don't have it. And they're going to pass this shit on to the next generation. And what is the next generation going to bring us then?
Well, I mean, I mean, truly, but like I said, I guess it goes back to people not really knowing, even as like you said, you might be mature in certain things, but I think it goes back to some people even in their 50s still don't know what they want.
Yeah, that's true. But think of it this way: that individual that you just mentioned in their 50s, imagine an individual with a child, and the child comes, and the child's now 18, 20, 24, whatever may be the age. But now that individual who's raised that child with the minimal knowledge or whatever it may be that they had at 50 and the time that they had with raising the child, now that child comes back to tell them how to live a life. Only a couple years in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, have you? What's the true idea? What can you bring to my life? You might be able to bring technology, but life experience, nah, won't happen.
Hell no, you so
Won't
right.
happen.
Well,
Won't happen.
they ain't been through life. I mean,
They
well,
ain't
we
been through it.
understand that part.
They ain't been through it.
Yeah,
So
that's
now, if they hadn't been through it as our children at 20-something years old, here they are procreating. They're creating more children. If we can understand it on the level of them being our children, we need to understand it on the level of us being somebody's grandparent. And that's the difference. That's the significant difference, because, hey, we can bore them, but, you know, sometimes the difficulty in raising them and what happens in that process, and then all of a sudden they believe they're grown and they want to procreate. And shit, they're as confused as we are, or more. More. So that's a thought. That's the way I look at it. I can, I'll talk to the wind if it stop moving. Let me stop.
Yeah, I mean, but see, the thing of it is, there. First of all, it ain't no judgment, and there's no right nor wrong answer. Like we said, that's the way you feel, and that's going to always be the foundation of what we set, because we can never say, oh, well, you shouldn't feel that way, or you shouldn't do this way, because that's the way you feel. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I don't know. I'm gonna get cut from you, but I'm gonna say, no, hell as you say, because the reality is that how many men do you know, young men between the ages of 20 and 30 years of age, that are capable or willing or understand what it takes to become what it needs to be done for them to be fathers or husbands or providers? It's not saying it doesn't happen. I'm not saying that there aren't any out there. What I'm saying is that on the masses level, our community, where is it? It's not there. It's not there. It's not.
Right.
I mean, if we can prove otherwise, I would look at. I'm actually going to look up numbers to find out, so that way the next way we bring it up, we'll be able to determine in regards to numbers what we can find out. If there's any statistical data that would attribute me being right or wrong, doesn't matter.
Right. But you know what? That's I was about to ask you that when I said, so we have to look up the statistically about that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So that means we would find out statistics of what it is. Then we can probably base it on what's true and what's facts and not. Because like I said, again, you're going on I would go on my own observation too of what I see. If you talk to different individuals right now and be like, do you want to get married? I don't know. I want to run the streets, or I want to do this, I want to do that. That's where it comes in. And that's where they're more comfortable with. So like you said, going back to fathering a child or raising a family, or being, as they call it, the head of their household. You know what I'm saying? Are they willing to take on that responsibility? You know what I'm saying? And like you said, from the ages of 20 to 30. Yeah, I mean, that's a big step. That's some big shoes to fill. You know what I'm saying? But I think the capabilities are there, and the possibilities are there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe more than we maybe even think of. Like you said, if we go on statistics, it might be something different.
Yeah, I truly don't know the statistics. I'm giving you my opinion.
No, true. That's what I'm saying.
I think of myself. I know I got married very young, and all I look at is that there were certain things as I was going through that I should have. If I would have known, I probably would have addressed things differently. And it's not to say I would have gotten married or not gotten married. It just would have been, there's certain things I would have done differently. And that attributes to your quality of living, with the individual, whether you're young or old. I just think that it was because of my youth is why I did the things that I did.
Right. And it makes most sense. So would either Chris or Brother D, would y'all like to elaborate on what we're speaking about?
I mean, I didn't really got. I was going back to what you said in a relationship about complacent or something like that.
Okay, be complacent. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Dan said the truth about opening the doors and doing all that, and that's what you need to do anyway. I was raised that way, but going on dinner dates or just going out for the weekend, going to somewhere just for the day. You know, that's being not complacent. You know, keeping the spark alive. You know,
But
that's
but
what
you
I
know,
feel.
but you know what? It's been different situations that some people have gotten, like maybe some things that make that person feel just like when we talked about a while back about intimacy. You see what I'm saying? So at one point you were very, it was a lot of intimacy with your significant other. Well, now that you done got that person and you've been with that person, well, guess what? Now you don't feel like you have to do it as much. Now, granted, life happens, things happen. You might take on a different a business venture or a venture, or like it might require a lot more of your time that it didn't require 15, 20 years ago. Granted, but at some point you have to some things you have to make a sacrifice in order to continue building strengthening
Yeah.
your relationship. I mean, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? But because sometimes do you base everything on money and say,
Hmm.
I I'm not spending time with you because I'm trying to make money so I can put this in the household. But do you
Well,
think is that fair to the next person due to because I mean it's a requirement at some point, but do you actually do you sacrifice and say, well, you know what, I'm not going to work as much? I
Man, that
mean,
depends on what y'all discuss, man,
hmm,
and that really depends on what y'all discuss and what y'all connection is together. That's what I think on that note,
it
cause
shouldn't change. I would agree. It shouldn't change nothing. But sometimes you ever heard that expression when they say out of sight, out of mind? You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? I don't agree with the thing of saying out of sight, out of mind, because if you love that person wholeheartedly and unconditionally, it shouldn't matter. That means you should no outside persuasion should curb you to do anything that you don't want to do anyway. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the way I feel. But at the same token, but some people are easily persuaded.
hmm,
Long as you're with that person, around that person, but the minute that you got to make a sacrifice in order to better your household, then they're gonna step out. But that's why I say it goes back to unconditional love. Not everybody has it. You know what I'm
true.
saying? Yeah, we as men, yeah, we do see things as probably appealing to us in certain ways, but you won't step forth. But as you close it, you look, you close your eyes, and you keep moving. You're not trying to step to them. You're not trying to talk to them. You're not trying to get no numbers. You're not trying to do none of that. But I'm pretty sure our wives probably do the same thing at some point. You know what I mean? Look at somebody that's probably, attracted to them. And they are attracted to, they look attracted to them. You know what I'm saying? But the point of it is just like, how you ever heard the old expression when they say you can look at the menu but just can't order?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking everybody had that at some point, men and women. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit here and say somebody say, "Oh yeah, well I know my wife don't look at another man, or I know my husband don't look at another man." Come on, I mean, look at another woman. Come on, man. I mean, let's be realistic, man. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but that's true. Women look at other men and men look at other women. That's how it is.
Yeah, that's
You
how
know,
it is.
it's just that if they step to them, or
Yeah.
the person might step to them.
I
You know,
mean, that's
my wife was just telling me that the other day. She said
right.
that a guy my son age, he asked her. He said, "You're." He asked her what you're looking for, and she was like, "Oh, I found it." And then he was like, "Oh, just want to say you're pretty." And he was like, "Okay." And then she said, "Are you married?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, he stepped to her. She wasn't even paying no mind to him.
Right. I
So
mean, do you
it's men that step to him like that.
right? It's a given. I mean, that's going to happen because if you find it attractive, somebody else will find it attractive also.
Oh yeah, that's true. You said that once too.
Yeah, that's it, man. So that's a given, but it's about are you going to initiate? Could keep what's the word I'm looking for? Interact with that person because they find you attractive. Because now we goes back. Me and D had this conversation before when we were talking about do women or men look for more outside what was that D we was talking about? Outside
Side
attention.
chicks.
No, outside attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the attention, if you really look at the attention, it should only be between you and that person that's a requirement, in my opinion.
Yeah, okay, but you can say that shit.
Huh?
Yeah. No, you don't have to go out there, but I'm saying you can say that, but everybody got that work husband or that work wife. You know, everybody got that.
Yep.
On in the office setting. You know, everybody got that, but they're not like they're gonna step out there on their significant other to go and pursue that. And you got some men who not getting that attention at home will step out, and men who getting attention and still step out. Women who usually get the attention but will step out in a heartbeat because she just finds it through the track. She's in another state, another city, whatever, and they were like, well, you know, I'm gonna do this one night stand. Never done it before. He's attracted to me. I'm attracted to him. I'm a little tipsy or not tipsy. I'm gonna do that. Who's gonna find out? You got people like that out there.
Now I'm gonna say this, Chris, and I mean it's hard, and I truly got to say this. And ladies, anybody that's on here, truly don't take this in a disrespectful. I'm disrespectful. That shit about you was too drunk and you did it. That's some bullshit.
That is, but no, you know, not drunk. Yeah, but you know, some women pursue that. You know, like some men, like they were. I think I was listening to a comedy show, and they said that me and my frat brother finna go to Colombia. Now, some of these frat brothers are married, but they in Colombia, they finna get, you know, the women, you know, that the women of the night, prostitute hookers, so they could do that down there, you know, and then they come back like nothing happened.
Wait, Chris, what'd you say? Woman of the night?
Yeah, women of the night, you know. yeah, that's old school. But I was listening to that, and the guy said some of these, because I think it was earthquake comedy, and he was like, well, some dude said, man, my frat brother's gonna go to Colombia, and you know, the girls, the women of the night, you know, the hookers, and I was like, but he said some of y'all frat brothers are married. He said exactly, but you know, they in another country, you know. So I mean, people do that. People do that.
So I had a discussion with someone today, and it was over. We had a discussion, and it was about sex. Not like that, but the meaning that when it comes to one or the other want to deny or use it as a weapon. How do y'all feel about that? I mean, do you think anybody should use it as a weapon or
use what?
Sex as a weapon?
Well, some women do.
Well, I mean, but in this
some men do too.
Some situations I've seen men do it too now.
Yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying? We looking at it, we viewing it from our situation as because we're men that, you know, but that we don't, you know, we figure we wouldn't deny our wives under circumstances. But there are some men that would do the same. That would deny a woman due to because and it goes back to when I tell you how some men act like some, you know, females, I would say. I'm gonna say that.
I wouldn't say it's a majority. If it's a majority, we got some real problems we need to address. Never mind what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, some situations it could be a control factor. Some say he might not want you no way. So I mean, yeah, I get it. I mean, true. It probably is a deeper issue anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it shouldn't be used as a weapon. You know what I mean? It should be used as something that it's supposed to be something that you both enjoy, or that's start a part of keeping things up in your relationship too. Because somebody say it's not based on that, but at the same time, it's a part of it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because some people might not be able to do the things they did 20 years ago, 15 years ago, but it's something that you could do in order to keep that spark going. But if you just figure like, oh, I don't want to do it, or I don't feel like it, or whatever the case may be, would you feel like a sense of control, or would you feel like that's a part of you just don't feel like? I mean, how would you put that in there in that aspect?
Yeah, yeah.
What would you say, D? What about you, Strick? I know you got a lot to say about that. But anyway,
Some women do, some men do. I heard a relationship. Check this out. I heard a relationship. This one guy got married and he married the girl and everything, but he demanded like scheduled intimacy, sex. He wanted Monday and Friday or something like that, and she couldn't say no. Like she couldn't. It was like if ands or but this is how it's gonna be. And the girl was just had kids with her, so she was like, okay, fine.
I mean, but wouldn't you think if you put a date on it, would that not be like a chore?
Yeah, some people sometimes it is. So some people
It
some
is a
in some
choice.
relationship.
That's what your ass gonna do. You gonna clock in and you clock out when I say so.
Hmm.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I would think that's a chore, man. It's like if you got to put time or when or where, that to me, that's that.
Yeah. Well, they divorced now, but they had two kids out of it, but they divorced. But the thing is that it's true. Some people are like that. Some people like, oh, we ain't done it in months, and the husband seemed fine with it. Maybe he getting some on the side. The wife seemed fine with it. You know, you don't know I'm not a woman, so I don't know what they think about. Well, I ain't had sex this long. I know my husband won't, but I don't know. That's what I think they think. I don't know. But men, some men don't want it all the time. Some men do. Some
I
men in their
mean,
50s and 60s wants it every day, but their wife don't want
but then wouldn't that be a sense of if you say just like you said, months, no health issues, no problems, no issues? Would you not in your mind would it play in your mind that that person, if it's not getting it from you, or they're getting it from somebody else? Or you might think that that person is not turned on by you by no more.
it. You can say two things like that, but a lot of times also it's scheduling. Some people work late at night, they get tired, they have a job to where they just get tired. Some people don't want to do it because they're tired. And then it become a choice. So they be like, well, I'm free Saturday morning or Saturday night. Let's cook some dinner or go out. Then we might do it that night. It might be planned, but they're during the week. But it depends on the person. But
No,
I
it,
I
it depends on
mean,
the couple. I would agree.
yeah,
I mean,
it
because
depends on the couple because I mean, you got some that you got some young couples. I find out young couples are that way, which surprising to me. When I was young, I wanted it I wanted it 12 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Not, you want it when you're young, but young couples are getting that way, which is strange to me. You know,
well, they first of all they probably wearing themselves out. So, but I mean, but it is what it
No,
is.
no, don't say that. How you gonna? Well, you young, you vibrant, you
Nah,
drinking your water,
I'm
taking your
just saying.
vitamins.
Yeah, but if you probably been having sex since the age of 2. I don't know shit. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Some people say that, man.
I
I've been
mean,
up
shit. Some of
since I
these
was
youngsters
wrong.
is watered down, though, man. You got to think.
Yeah,
Some of them they watered down. They not as stiff and potent as like our generation, y'all generation, and so on, so on, so on. You know what I'm saying? They not potent like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
watered down. They broken traditions, all that broken.
Oh
yeah.
You
yeah,
know what I'm
100%.
saying? So, with that being said, it ain't gonna be like what Strick said. If we attack the grandbabies, you know what I'm saying, kind of get them molded and started, then maybe they parents can see something and take control of that again. You know what I'm saying? And get back on that right track. But man, it's broke. It's I hate to say it, but it's somewhat broken. It can be fixed though. But
I mean,
from my
yeah.
opinion, from my view, it's shit. It's out there, man. It's out there. It's so much exposed. I mean, hell, a kid can get online and look up whatever and be
Yeah.
Mhm.
immune to it just that quick. You know what I'm saying?
A
It's
lot of times
crazy.
they
It's
are immune
scary.
to it.
I'm
Like
telling you, man, it's scary,
gun
dog. Like,
violence, man. These kids are immune to gun violence. Everybody packing a gun now. They ain't, oh, you got a gun. Like back in the day, you see somebody with a gun, you go, oh wow, you got a gun. Now they, oh, you got a gun. They ain't nothing. They like carrying gum in your pocket.
Yeah.
Now if you use it, it's a
Or
different
even
story.
wilder. You used to think something was different when a dude used to walk around with a knife in his pocket. You used to
Oh
think that
yeah,
was something big. Well,
Yeah.
times are changing. Now it's like everybody got a gun on their hip. It's like we literally in the wild, wild west.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say that, but it's yeah.
I
Some
mean,
pack knives, some pack guns, some yeah.
You
put
better
a
not
put
see
a
nobody put
AK
up
on
their
their back
dukes and box.
and
They
keep
gonna
walking
get shot.
around. Huh?
I said the day you see somebody on video say, "Come on, let's fight," they dead.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man, but like I said, I just think that no one should have to, shouldn't be complacent when it comes to your relationship because
Nah.
especially if that person continue to being who they are. Because if they come to the point where when it comes to change, it's like you're not. I've been the same person, and you wonder why if a person stopped doing certain things, it don't make you want to do certain things like you used to do either way. Anyway.
Mm-mm.
So that means if you don't, hey, like a woman telling her husband, hey, baby, your hair looks good, or your haircut look good, or I like your shave, or baby, that shirt looks good on you. Vice versa, their wife, hey, baby, that skirt look good on you, whatever. But now all of a sudden you see her, she walking in, and she's trying to get your attention, or he's trying to get your attention to get your opinion because they value your opinion. But now you're not paying them any attention at all. So now that goes on for months and months and months and months. Now, at some point, somebody gonna have to address it one way or the other at some point. But
Mhm.
then some people deal with it when they walk around slamming doors. They give you one word answers, of stuff of that nature. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be that. It should be the point about we sit down like two, as Rick said, mature adults and have that conversation.
Mhm.
But some are not willing. You'd rather walk around with slamming doors, whatever, eat some out of the refrigerator because being petty, because I know you want it, I'm gonna eat it anyway, or you know what I'm saying, or leave, like some women don't like the men leave the toilet. You just leave the toilet seat up just because.
Yeah.
Now y'all start throwing slugs at each other due to but instead of someone sitting down being mature enough to say, hey, look, come on, sit down, that we need to talk. You know what I'm saying? Before you go to that level, do people have that talk before they decide to step out if that's what they choose to do, or do they have that talk and then they get no results, then they step out? What would y'all feel about that?
Most people just step out.
Yeah, I ain't saying a word.
Nope.
I mean, no judgment. I'm just wondering. I'm just curious. Do you have that talk, and then if it don't change, then you step out. You a person decide to step out, or me personally, if I got to go through all that, and then I'll just rather not be with you because that means it's a waste of time.
I don't know. Just
At
depends
that
on how
point,
I feel.
now be roommates, huh?
You got to have an exit plan. It just depends on how you feel. I mean, you can go and get out of it now if you got them funds to do that, or you ride the wave and you build yourself till it's time to exit, or do what you do.
Mhm.
Again, do that go? That is that is a certain time frame, or is it
No, it's just like my mama always told me. When your heart is tired, you'll know what to do. You'll feel it. It's within you, really. Ain't no answer, ain't no time on it, ain't none of that shit, man. It's when you feel it, man. Enough's enough. When your
okay?
tolerance don't reach that level, that's that. At that
Okay,
point, you don't even care. You pulling out right now, cashing out.
right. Okay, here goes the thing. You know the situation, D, because we had this conversation, and you know about whom. You thinking everything all peaches and cream. All of a sudden, someone gonna come in and slap you across your head, and boom, I want a divorce. You're not prepared. You're thinking everything good. What's your exit strategy then?
What you mean?
Man,
The strategy's already been provided.
Well, but we're talking
but he
financial.
don't. But that person don't know that. A lot of guys don't know nothing about them type of strategies, though. You know what I'm saying?
There's no strategy.
They,
Once
they
someone has said that they want to leave and they provide you with divorce papers, there's no strategy. The
Well, no,
strategy
it's no
is
strategy,
time to
but I'm
go.
just saying. But I mean, the reason that I'm just saying it because D said, you know, you got to have an exit plan by XYZ, and like I said, I get his point. But what I'm saying is, but we remember we was talking about you know, your boy D. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That was a surprise. Like, wow, it's a surprise. And he had no financial strength behind him. You know what I'm saying? Because he thinking he putting all his eggs in the basket, and then all of a sudden, I decide I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? I ain't tell you nothing. You thinking everything good. So would that be a form of complacency in that part because you're not thinking outside the box, or do you? Because at no point you should think about an exit plan. At some point, not when you think everything is good. Now, if something gradually happened over the years, yeah, okay, I get it. You know, time go on, you see some things changing, making major changes. Then you like, well, shit, I need to start making some moves. But everything good, and all of a sudden, a person just walk in one day and say, "Look, I don't want to do this no more," because of why? Maybe an outside influence. Now, me, I probably didn't do what I was supposed to do, but at the same time, I would think you would give me that much respect to sit down and talk and have that conversation with me to give me that option to make it either make it better or I'm just going to continue being who I am. Anybody? 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 Anyone? Anybody?
Yeah, man.
You see what I'm saying? But you understand what we were talking about, man. That's what I'm saying. So I mean, I get it, and it makes a lot of sense when you start seeing when the writing is on the wall or the writing is in itself. Yeah, I get it. But what happens when you don't have the writing on the wall? You know what I'm saying? Everything is peachy, and all of a sudden, well, in your mind it's peachy, but in that person's mind, they already strategizing how to get out of it, or having again outside influence. So at that point, you know, now financially, you didn't, like I said, you didn't put everything you need to put because you're doing your regular duties as a husband or a wife, or whatever the case may be, and then all of a sudden somebody come in and pop an A, XYZ. And then on top of that, is that person willing to say, well, okay, well, we made a pact for each other to say we're not going to be that person to leave the other one or the other in a financial strain, even if we decide to go different ways. But not everybody's thinking like that. They're not gonna say, okay, you come to. I remember me and my wife always said that to us right now. She said, well, baby, look, if we get into and we decide that we're gonna go separate ways, we will never leave each other in a financial bind.
That's
You
a
know what I'm
good
saying?
thing.
But we had that conversation. We good, we straight, but it was just something that we came to in the conclusion of we would never leave each other in a bind, because is that fair to a person that you didn't build something together and all of a sudden I want everything because I don't like you no more. You know what I'm saying? It really is no real reason. And some people don't even have that real reason. But again, it goes back to that outside influence. You know what I'm saying? If it's something that you're missing at home, you shouldn't go out and seek it from the outside influence. You should be able to seek it from that person that you're with to give you what you need, physically and mentally.
True.
You know what I'm saying? But then here goes the most mind-boggling thing with me. People start complaining about, oh, he don't cook, she don't cook, she don't clean up, she don't know. But then you knew that when you first met that summer girl.
Mm-hmm.
So at what point did you realize that she or he didn't do it then? What makes you think they're gonna do it now?
Well, I can tell you what made me realize was when all my clothes that were white were pink when she washed
Oh, well, yeah, well.
them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think
everything was pink, and yeah. And I ate chicken for about 7 days, and I was like, well, you cook anything other than chicken? She said no.
Oh, wow. Yeah, but
She cooked.
And she cooked,
yeah.
but it was just chicken.
Well, I mean, but that's something. I mean, I'm not saying it gets your belly full, but at some point. But I'm just saying, but it's just a lot of things. A lot of people break up over certain things that they know that person didn't do from the very beginning.
Okay, I get it.
You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? How would you get
Well,
why? But you. Well, you didn't do this. You didn't do that. Well, summer girl, you knew I didn't do it 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So it shouldn't be a surprise. Did you make it back in the house? Now, here goes the thing: as you gradually be into a relationship and you move around and do stuff like that, you might grow to learn and do those things later on.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And because you didn't do it before, you learned it because I wouldn't say that's what you expect out of me, but you would like to see me do more of. Like if I didn't do a whole lot of cooking, but all of a sudden I started doing cooking. Well,
Yeah.
I never fixed nothing, but now I start learning how to fix things. I go on YouTube, I do this, I try to learn those things. You know
Hey
what I'm
man,
saying?
you talking about me?
No, because I can't fix nothing either. So I ain't. So I'm.
I can
I
fix
you
something.
talking about me on the cool, you know.
No, well, if I'm talking about you, strict, I'm talking about myself. So I'm just saying. But I'm just saying. But it's just certain things that you do gradually because of the care you have for that person, and it's not a part of that. That's the only thing that's going to make them happy. But it's also knowing that if they mention it to you, you say, "Well, I don't know how to do it." But then you try to learn that. Like, say, if it might be a certain dish you like to cook, like a person. You can say you like Mexican food, or you like Chinese food, or you like Italian food, different foods, and you be like, "Well, I never cooked it, I never did." But then you're gonna try to learn in order to make that person to be happy, make that person happy. That's a part that you're trying to do. You're willing to do those type of things. I never watched at one point. I never watched Lifetime. Never did my entire life.
What?
Bro, I never, but then, I mean, not saying she had an influence, but my ex-wife, I started watching Lifetime. Okay, cool. But then at the same time,
had an influence, but you never watched Lifetime, bro?
No, I wasn't no Lifetime person, man.
Why not?
Because it seemed like it's always doing something to us. That's why I never watched it.
Well, I mean, look, yeah, I guess in a way you can look at it that way, but the reality is that when they start not lying, but it's a reality that we live in. We live in a society that's predicated and controlled by men, and
Well, I mean, yeah,
short end of the stick. Now, it doesn't mean that we should go to the extreme, but I kind of appreciate Lifetime.
I mean, I would probably check it out. I'll check it out now, but I'm just saying at one point I wouldn't watch Lifetime. You see what I'm saying? But I mean, I'm not knocking it, you know what I mean? But I'm just giving examples of things that you're willing to do for that significant other because you know it makes them happy.
It's like, deciding to go get your feet pedicured.
Yeah, all right, man. So now you shooting slugs. But anyway,
I ain't saying nothing about nobody's name. I was just saying
look, you shooting slugs, but
I feel guilty about it now.
But I'm going to.
I'm just saying that all I said was it's just like going to get a pedicure. I ain't saying anybody denied or was willing to or not. Now, if you claim it, then it's different.
Yeah, all right. Whatever. But anyway,
you're right about that though. Lifetime. I don't do Lifetime.
Yeah, but I mean, but I'm just, but what I'm saying is, but say for instance, but okay, Chris, you say you don't do it. Would you flat out, if your wife say, "Well, baby, I want you to sit down with me and watch Lifetime," you gonna say, "Hell no, I ain't watching that. I don't even do it."
Let me ask y'all this: have you ever watched the Burning?
I have said it and still watched it one time.
Hey, have you ever watched the Burning Bed, Chris?
No,
of course, man. I'm an '80s kid. Who didn't?
So, see, that's what I'm saying. Now, did we learn something from that?
Nope.
You didn't learn nothing from the Burning Bed?
I remember the movie. I just remember he abused her. That's the only thing I remember.
Farrah Fawcett, she was abused.
Burning Bed.
In Delaware, basically, it was a true story depicted upon a woman that was constantly abused and she kept calling the police, and the police wouldn't do anything because during that time, that wasn't considered to be a crime. It wasn't until Joe Biden initiated domestic violence law, I think it was in the 80 or 79, somewhere around there, that changed things. But watch The Burning Bed. If you're going to criticize or judge, take a look at The Burning Bed. I think it's a good movie.
Don't make me watch on
You might
YouTube.
take a look at that, but like I said, but you guys get my point. What I'm saying about doing things that you would out of the norm that you would usually do, because as a single man, you did what you want to do, when you want to do it, and how you want to do it. So I think it comes from a woman being single to a man being single. Certain things that they were used to doing on their own. Some things you have to do a compromise, because what if that woman don't like to watch sports, or that man don't want to watch Lifetime or watch a sewing show. Now I ain't watching no sewing show. I'm not.
I'm not a cookie.
Hey, I'm not doing that. But I'm just saying.
Or going around people, being in the space where you don't want to be it, but you're doing that because she wanted to be it. A lot of times people do that in a relationship. Trust me, I've seen it. Then men come clicked up. Because men don't want to be there, but the women are there, so we just click up.
Right, but okay. But do you have a disgust look in your face because you don't want to be there, or do you try to make everything possible to make it like you enjoy?
Good question, because sometimes I'll make something out of nothing, and sometimes she don't know I want to be there, and I make it obviously I don't want to be there to where people look at me.
You make it obvious. How do you make it obvious?
He probably frowning like.
Oh yeah, I mean mug everybody. If I don't mean mug you, if I'm not comfortable, I mean mug you.
You mean mugging because they did something?
No, I just mean mug anybody. I just looking straight at mean mug them. Like they'll come up, you could be in a space and somebody say, "Hey, how you doing?" and shake her head, but not my hand. I'm like, I'm here too. So I'm like, oh, that's how you play it. And then you can tell that vibe is like that there, and then you just like, why am I even here? I'm just this person not even here. And then that's when you me mug everybody. And some spots I go to where I'm good, I'm comfortable, even though sometimes I'll be the only male there, and I just do me, and I just get them. Oh, sorry, my cats is fighting. But I'll say sometimes I'll be the only male there, and I'm like, why I'm here? I'm the only man here. No other man here, but I want you here. So I just gotta be there.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying, but at some point you don't want to, because you don't want your wife to feel like, oh, he really don't want to be here, and you making it obvious.
Yeah, she does. She knows that.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I do that for her because that's called love.
No, it's love, but she wants you to have a sense of enjoying somewhat enjoying it. Because to me personally, I mean, in my opinion, it's like you might not want to do something, but the point of you viewing that you're with your significant other, it should matter that point. So you're gonna make something out of nothing anyway. You know what I mean? Meaning, like,
I agree.
You're
Chris,
gonna,
don't cut me, but I agree.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So you have to. I'm not saying you have to, but it might be more enjoyable for her if you try to put, not saying you got to fake it, but at the same time, it start beginning to come like, oh, okay, well, hey, baby, as long as I'm with you, it's fine. I'm gonna make it happen. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because because your wife, and I can see you've been together for a very long time. Your wife never really want to put you in a situation that you're uncomfortable
in certain spots. Yeah, in certain situations. Sorry to interrupt. But certain situations, yeah. Because with my wife, I changed her around because my wife was like she's a label. She wanted to buy the expensive stuff. I always shopped at Goodwill and Five and Dime since I was a kid. Now my wife shops Five and Dime and all these little. She don't do like the 579 store. She'll shop at Goodwill because some Goodwill clothes are brand new. She used to mall shopping and I'm more, not even Walmart. I wouldn't even go to Walmart. I was going to not even Wieners or JCPenney. I was at Goodwill. I bought my wardrobe from Goodwill because I thought to me that was Most of that stuff was expensive but cheap, but I didn't mind it. But as I got with her now, I got her to like Goodwill stuff, but if she got me to like mall, like going to mall and buying clothes, because I really didn't buy clothes. We bought shoes from mall. We never bought clothes unless it was like a polo shirt or something. You remember back in the day, you didn't go just, oh yeah, I'm gonna give me a shirt at Penny's. I'm gonna look. No, we didn't do that. We shopped shoes at the mall, and that was it.
But see, that's the sense of compromise between both.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that means with some things she wouldn't do, she bent, she bent her rules to it. Certain things you wouldn't do, you bent your rules to it. But that's a sense of compromise. But that makes a strong relationship and a strong marriage, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like I said, if I go somewhere and I'm like, man, I don't really want to be here, man. Shit, and I'm huffing and puffing. I'm looking around. I go stand outside. I'm playing on my phone. You know what I mean? Different like that. Then it makes me think like I'm there, but I'm not there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to be in the point of not trying to have that mean mug on your face or that certain a look of disgust. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I'm not saying that's what you should do, but I'm just giving my opinion about it. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I feel about it. You know what I mean? And Chris, don't get me wrong. That's something I had to learn. It's not something I picked up overnight. So, oh, that's the way it's supposed to be. And I've been doing this for you. No. But I noticed if when a person reciprocates of what you're giving out, I'm willing to go do the extra thing and not have a frown on my face or looking crazy or whatever. Now, I'm gonna tell you one thing I probably would have discussed because my wheels is bad. If we gotta walk a long distance and my knees hurting, like I'm like, look, I'll go. I might stop a few times, but I'm gonna go. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? But that's just a different situation. But I mean, that's just the way I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? And these are I think the foundations of something of building and continue building and making it stronger and stronger. Because some people be in a relationship and they go backwards.
Mm-hmm.
You think about the longer you be together, the stronger your relationship. Well, sometimes the longer you be together, it goes backwards. It'd be like you go from loving, die in love with this person to literally hate.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that about you.
My ex-wife,
30 years from 30 years ago. I didn't know that.
Huh?
You'd be like, man, I didn't know you was that way. I wish I'd have known 30 years ago you was that way.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But you know what? In so many ways, though, Chris, being honest with you, man, sometimes the signs are there, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's on both parts.
Truth.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just, what do you overlook and what do you know what I'm saying? You overlook a lot of things. We all look. I think everybody on this panel, probably everybody, we all have overlooked a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because now you're thinking your heart, your love, you're so fascinated by the person, the man or the woman you with, you willing to, oh, okay, well, so what if he digging his nose and rub it on the wall? It's okay, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be. But you overlook them things. But best to believe, sometimes those very things that you overlook and then get an argument come up, sometimes those things come up. Well, you should have told me this 10 years ago. I remember back in 2010, you did this. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't like it. You know what I mean? You should have brought that up right then and there. And I think that's what happens with a lot of times. Because sometimes if you don't address something right then and there, a lot of times when it gets to that point, it blows up and it turns into something huge.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So I learned that over the years that if I have an issue, I address it then. I don't wait a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month. I don't do that. I address it right then and there and try to find a resolution to it right then and there. A solution. If you know what I'm saying, that means if it takes time, okay, I might not have a solution right then and there, but then again, it might be the next day. I might consult with somebody that I trust in, you, Strick, Dion, and hey, man, I went through this, man. Hey, man, what do y'all think? Because I value you guys' opinion. You see what I'm saying? So, okay, now you might make me look at something a little different. Now I got a different approach to it. Now I didn't went to them for putting your head together. Now I found I have a solution to what I had an issue with. And who's to say I might have been overreacting on some situation.
Yeah.
So, but that's where it comes in, you know. But I'm not. I did that so much, man. When I was with my ex, that every time it seemed like it never fails. It could be something about why you leave your shoes in the what's the name. Okay, it bothered you. You wait till 3 months later, I do it again. You don't say nothing. Then all of a sudden, well, I can't stand when you put your shoes in the middle of the floor, you know, and I'm always tripping on them, whatever. But why you didn't say something then? That means I probably would have never done it again. I'd have put them somewhere else, out of your way.
True.
You know what I'm saying? But that's where I think people, again, that comes back to people being complacent in a certain situation. You should have to, I think if you should be able to address anything that you have an issue with in a respectful, calm manner. Especially like Strick said, you get older, man. Who the hell want to be walking around screaming to the top of their lungs, bro? I'm not finna do it. I refuse to do it. I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna
That's
sit
too
here
much energy there.
too much energy, bro. I'm telling you, by the time you did that in mid conversation, you probably fall and probably be ready to go lay down because you're tired.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Who has that type of energy? But I figure, and I tell anybody, if you take that same energy and put it in a positive, you might can make a whole lot of things turn around in your situation, a marriage, relationship, friendship, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Instead of hooping and hollering and doing all that other stuff, man, just hey, look, hey, baby, look, I got a problem with this, or your wife tell you, hey, baby, I got a problem with that. I mean, sometimes things make things more crucial and more, because sometimes it goes to the point of, you know, especially if you, and then another thing I found out too, also, if you're not willing to take constructive criticism, you gotta be taking them. Sometimes you gotta take constructive criticism, man. You know what I'm saying? Constructive, not no, I'm pointing the finger type. You did this and you did that and you did this, because I've seen a lot of that situation now. It shouldn't be the pointing the finger aspect. It should be a point of you sitting down, talking to that person and telling them how you feel, but in a respectful, calm manner. Because if I go and tell you, I don't like for you to wear your shoes this way, blah, 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 blah. Well, you're not gonna get a good response. But I'm like, hey, baby, really, I really don't like the way you wear your shoes like that. Okay, baby, well, I didn't know that you felt like that. You know what I'm saying? So same issue, but just in a different manner. You see what I'm saying? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, don't that seem like it make more sense to me than sitting up here hooping and hollering. Hello? Hello?
Chris.
Hello?
Anybody? Oh, okay. I didn't know
Yeah.
anybody still left. But yeah, man, look, look here, man. We be talking about this all night. Look, I gotta get my wife up. Hey, man, look, again, hey, man, we can do this again on Friday, brother, man. I appreciate each of you brothers, man. Everybody in the chat, Frankie and Johnny, Sexy Maze, always a pleasure. Man, sis, y'all don't definitely, I love y'all support for our channel, you know what I'm saying? And we try to bring positive vibes. So I really appreciate you guys and you brothers, man. Y'all be my brothers for life, man. Circle gratitude, man. Definitely, man. I just want to tell everybody, thanks again. We're gonna do this once again on Friday, man. We're gonna get a subject. If you should get a subject that you want to speak about, put it on top of the put it in the community wall, or either if you got a contact information, contact me or Chris or D or Strick. Well, I know not Strick. But anyway, but like I said, if either one of us, man, and you feel like you want to talk about something, definitely, man, we'd be willing to talk about it because there's no judgment zone. But I want to appreciate each one of y'all, and that we want to say God bless everybody. Be cool. Have a good night and have a good rest of the week.
You too, my brother. Y'all too, my brother. All right.
All right, brother. All right, brother Strickland.